Hey guys, Rob with the AIM Endurance Group. I wanted to continue our series here on the competitive phase 1 weight workout. This is cycle number 3. You're going to notice on your spreadsheet there, this next exercise we do is going to include the football once again. And we do everything we can on the football in single leg to increase your proprioceptive balance. This one's going to work your upper lats up into your shoulder blades as well as your triceps. Okay. Like you saw in phase number 1, what we want to do is get yourself to where your shoulder blades and your head are being supported by the ball. I don't want you to blow your neck out trying to get the workout and the range of motion established. Once I get the weight extended, what I do is I tighten up my abdominals, which brings my spine up. I'm tightening my glutes at the same time. What I'm going to do is just bring the weight all the way up and over and then get a tricep extension on the end. But this is the biggest focus that you have, is getting those lats, everything into your armpit, the scapula, all of the muscles into your armpit, pulling it back over, bringing it down slowly, okay? Right here is your biggest range of motion. Nice flat back, trying to include as many muscle tissue in many muscle groups as possible, okay? That's going to be your first exercise. And I think it goes without saying, if you don't keep a good grip on that weight, you don't want to plant this across your forehead. What I like to do is kind of spider my fingers through here so that I've got the weight. It'd have to slip through both hands to get to my head. But that's a good one, again, for the armpit, stabilization of the shoulders into the upper traps as well. Okay. The next exercise we're going to do that you have there, that's going to be your military press, your traditional shoulder press. Again, you've seen this range of motion previously. In the previous strength cycle that we did. What I want to remind you of is that you want to be on single leg. You want to have your belly button piercing your spine, and the key is that you're simply trying to push your arms straight to the ceiling, stopping at 90 degrees. Okay? If you go above 90 degrees, you take a lot of the pressure off the shoulders. Upper traps, levator scapula, middle deltoid is what we're after. The other thing too is, I don't want to see, if the weight's so heavy that you have to bounce to initiate the movement, then you need to lighten up the weight. Alright? By standing on one single leg, you're engaging the glutes, the lower back, and the abs all at one time. And you're just bringing it up to 90 degrees. So again, it's an exercise that you've seen previously, but it's an exercise that's very important for the strength of the shoulder girdle. Okay? For all the various forms of cross-training that you do and for the sports specificity of it, we're doing everything we can to prevent injury as much as we are to promote strength. So don't lose sight of that. Move the weight slow and controlled. The next exercise that you have there is going to be your overhead press. Again, I want you doing it on single leg. I want you to interweave the weights in between your hands. Okay? What you're going to do is, the most important part here is keeping your elbows by your head. I can't tell you how many times I see people lifting the tricep extension like this. That's not how it works. Keep it close. Take it straight up overhead like you're hitting a hammer against a wall. And the most important thing to remember is to keep the elbows close and tight. If you keep it close and tight, what you're doing is you're isolating the back of the triceps, okay? And what you'll notice is, as I'm doing this, the weight needs to come down into my shoulder blade and straight up. Again, by standing on one leg, you're engaging the glute. If you want to take your rep count and cut it in half and do half the repetitions on your left leg and then the right leg, it's going to benefit you two ways. One, it's going to improve your balance on your weaker side, and two, it's going to create balance and strength in the glutes, all right, where the head of the femur comes in. So that's your overhead tricep press. The next exercise is called Good Mornings. I have seen a lot of guys and girl athletes hurt themselves by using way too much weight in this regards. Okay, good morning, just by traditional range of motion from the side, is going to be locking the knees out, bending over until you get a good stretch in the hamstrings, and simply standing straight back up. Okay, as you get more comfortable, more relaxed, you can let the weight go as deep as possible. If necessary, you can stand up on a box or a bench so you can get a little bit deeper range of motion, maybe below the horizon for the weight. But the idea is, by bending over like that, you're engaging the hamstring from below your glute all the way to the back of the kneecap. And that's all hamstrings. That's what I want you to be thinking of. Stay focused on what you're trying to work on, okay? Now that you understand what the range of motion looks like, what I want you to think about is we're going to go into single leg. All right, it's a little bit more advanced, but again, it's not about adding more weight, it's about putting more demand on individual muscle groups, i.e., if you have a right and a left side and one side's dominant, the one that's the more powerful, dominant, more coordinated is going to take over. Well, if you remove that leg, you force your weaker one to have to step up. Same range of motion applies. I keep my knee locked out, simply stand straight back up. Bending over, straight back up. Again, it's not about how much weight you use, it's how slow you control it and the quality of the range of motion. Okay? So make sure, just like in all the other cycles and all the other weight workouts we've presented to you, please make sure you move it slowly, methodically, and stay focused on the muscle group you're working. All right? If you start to feel twinges somewhere else in another muscle group, then you know something's gone wrong. Either your form is wrong, maybe you've got some over tight muscles. Stop the workout. Don't continue to push through it and blow something out, because for you to maybe lose 2 or 3 exercises versus losing 2 or 3 weeks to try to repair something that's torn wouldn't make much sense. So that wraps up that phase, that cycle of your competitive strength training phase 1. You can check us out for the next cycle that'll be coming up next. If you have any questions, feel free to email us.